How's it going, guys? Welcome back to What Do You Think? We just watched The Creator, so let's talk about it. And if you guys have not seen any trailers for The Creator, it is pretty much a new sci-fi epic directed by Gareth Edwards of Rogue One and Godzilla fame. Yeah, exactly. And this is a really action-packed sci-fi adventure original movie of when AI that is created to protect us and serve us essentially come to their own sentience and realize that they're fighting for their freedom.
Yeah. It's I was telling them when I watched the movie, it really does feel like a modern take on Avatar. Instead of the humans fighting the Na'vi, it is humans essentially trampling on the rights of AI, treating them like slaves. And this movie does a really good job of showing how damaging humans can be to things
both
that aren't
sides.
the same.
Both
sides. But we gotta say, John David Washington leads this movie. I don't know if he does a great job leading it, but he leads the movie. We got Ken Watanabe, I believe Gemma Chan, and then
Allison Janney.
Allison Janney was really good, and a couple of other actors who I'm not too familiar with. But right off the bat, I think we can all agree this movie was visually stunning.
Visually stunning. And probably you guys have already heard how much the budget of this movie was. It is like 80 million. And they truly stretch every single dollar, where I'm like, damn, this looks better than like most
movies now. It looks better than Quantumania and Flash.
Yes.
Flash was double or triple its budget, and it looks nothing.
300 million. 300 million.
Jesus.
I wish I did more research before the video, because I was telling the twins, Gareth Edwards, or the DP, shot this on a very specific Sony camera. I think it's one of those compact ones, but the reason why it looks so good is because they developed a new lens to shoot it on. So we were talking in the car how instead of for IMAX, it's like this. The frame with this camera is instead wider. So you get more picture this way versus like this. So I think
I'm really interested to see kind of him talk more about that, because I was when I watched the movie, I guess it looks like it's shot on film, right? Is it confirmed?
I thought it was like that real grainy look,
and it made it look so real. And I just kind of want to see him talk about that, because he told me this small little Sony camera. I'm like, damn, it looks better than everything that's come out this year. Like it looks really good, and I even told him at times it looks like a Nolan movie. Because I forgot the guy the DP did Batman, I believe, in Dune.
Greg Fraser didn't do this one. It's his apprentice.
I thought
but Greg Fraser did Rogue One.
So,
okay.
I could have sworn I thought the guy Greg Fraser did Batman?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the DP of this movie did a great job. Score was by Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
He did good.
So we just got out of it maybe like an hour or two ago. And I want to ask you guys, because I don't know if you guys have seen it. This is the second weekend it came out. And we did not see it with a packed theater. We did watch it earlier in the day. But I'm hoping that word of mouth is able to carry this movie to get more support for it. So we already talked about kind of the brief synopsis. Go into, I guess, the stronger aspects. Like, what was your favorite part of this movie? Out of you guys?
I think the VFX, 100%. Cinematography, 100%. Production design, 100%.
Did you say CG?
CG.
Oh, yeah.
VFX. Yeah. And the little girl who plays Alfie, she is so good.
She's a star.
She outacts John David Washington. No offense to John David Washington. I like him. He's very charismatic. But she is so good. And
you don't expect it. Like, you don't expect when you're watching this, you're not expecting her to be like the standout. She can cry better than John David.
Because she's a very silent character in the beginning. I'm like, oh damn, they're not gonna give her any line.
Because she can't. You would think it's because she can't act. That is not.
But she is great, and it feels probably similar to other movies that you've seen with kind of a
Logan,
father and a surrogate child. But the actress that plays Alfie does a really, really good job of bringing heart to this story.
100%. The story is very simple. It's very
it's straightforward to the point, but I think what it does do is really good. Where you're noticing when you're watching this movie, like, because I think you're gonna find yourself like, there's not only one bad person in this war, there never is, and you truly find yourself like sympathizing with both sides, and like, damn, it just shows like, because obviously the villains are humans, right? But this war kind of just shows the amount of lives that are being lost on both sides. Where it's like, man, if it wasn't for the greed of the Americans, this would not be an issue. Because there's a really good line from Ken Watanabe, where when they're having this war, he's like, oh, if we win the fight in the West, you guys think
what's gonna happen?
You guys are so scared of what's gonna happen.
I'll tell you what happens.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's gonna happen. Peace.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen.
You guys are not gonna go extinct. We just want to live in harmony.
Yeah.
But the human race is so terrified, especially against the American government.
Yes.
Is so terrified because they actually do a really good job of showing that there are humans on planet Earth that are against the government that's doing all of these strikes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this is great. Where it's showing like it's not just a humans versus AIs thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah, I think if there were to be villains in this movie, it is the Americans. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Not humans, it's Americans.
Yeah.
Because also one of the strongest lines in the movie is because we missed, I think, the first 2 or 3 minutes of this movie. We got there a little bit late.
Yeah.
We did see the first strike that happened by Nomad in I don't know if it was Los Angeles, but Ken Watanabe was mentioning that there was another strike that happened 15 years ago by AI. And the whole thing he was saying was he said we didn't trigger that. Yeah. That was human error that triggered that strike, and we got all the blame for it, and that's what started this war. And I'm like, damn, that was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. Best way to describe it, it just feels like a modern take on Avatar. Like it looks beautiful. The AI are you sympathize with them. Like when you see these robots, I'm like, man, you don't even have they don't even give them a face sometimes. Like, wow, I can see your soul through this shell.
Yeah, and they give them humanity. Yeah.
The designs of this movie are so unique.
Yeah.
Where it feels so Star Wars, but it doesn't. It's not Star Wars.
It's not copying it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think for this movie, I felt similar to the first time when I watched Dune, where it's really good sci-fi. So, I was talking to them about it, where I think during the movie you can kind of pinpoint the very specific genre it is. It's so sci-fi, and then I was also thinking
sci-fi action.
Exactly. Versus like other movies we've watched this year, specifically Marvel movies. You can't put
it doesn't have a genre. The genre is Marvel.
Yeah, it's a Marvel movie. It's a DC movie. It's a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Right? These big tentpole stuff don't fit into this because it already has its own thing to be.
And it's fitting the pattern that has been established.
It's like it lacks, the other movies almost like lack a soul in a way.
Yeah.
For this movie, it works in this movie because like, oh, they're saying AIs, they have their own rights. Like for this, it really has its own feel. And there are some problems with the movie that we're going to go into. But I think overall, the skeleton of the movie, the outline of the movie, the message it has to say, the way it looks, it is fantastic. But I think what we cannot, at least for me, I thought the biggest problem with the movie was John David Washington. I think he's a good actor, like in Black Klansman. I loved him in that. But with this movie, I feel like he was not able to really put everything on the weight of his. He can't put it all on his back because I didn't think he was charismatic, and I know we didn't agree with this, but I thought his character was also super selfish. That when there's a war fighting for the rights of robots and your freedom, and this one guy is making choices just to find his wife. I'm like, man, you are.
Well, because he says the line, "You guys care about going extinct. I don't care."
Yeah.
So his whole thing is his life ended when the bomb happened. So I disagree
over the robots though, rather than the human.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, so he's a selfish character. He's not.
But he's a human. He has a good arc. So I don't think the character is boring for sure. He plays Joshua Taylor. I think he could have had a little bit more to do. My biggest issue, I think, just John David Washington, at least in this movie, was not that great of an actor. There are moments when he needs to kind of bring that emotion up. And not only does Alfie, I think, get there higher than him, he had like another friend. I think, what was the character's name? Was like Derek?
Drew.
Drew. Yeah, Drew, he was great. And like I think everyone around John David Washington just does a little bit more.
I mean, you made a joke. What was the one joke you were saying for John David? Like, was it like Alfie? Like,
oh yeah, no, he's yelling for the child's name, and it's like just no emotion. Alfie, come back here, Alfie. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not buying it. I'm not. That you told me that's the best team.
Yeah, there's no way that's the best team. Nah.
Where's Denzel when you need it?
I agree. I was like, you're bringing Daddy in, man.
Yeah.
Calling the assist.
I think for me, I disagree on the most part with these two, but I can see how John David is a little bit wooden because I didn't really mind that until Amir whispered in my ear halfway through the movie.
I think it was even sooner than halfway.
It was like 20 minutes in. He was like, John David is not selling this.
So I think I first put it as a question. I was like, I don't know if John David Washington's that great of an actor.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
And you were saying when he was saying it, you're like, dude, just let me watch the movie.
Yeah, it really shattered my perception of it. But I think it didn't affect me that much. I think John David was good with the script that he was given for his character versus, Alfie, like we said, she's a great character. with the actress elevating what was written.
I agree.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And for another problem I have with the movie, it's gonna go a little bit into spoilers. Is that okay if we talk spoilers?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, I think Gemma Chan was actually wasted in this movie. I think she's a great actress, and for me, I think when they have John David fighting to see her throughout the entire movie, and when he does see her, which, I mean, it was a good scene, she happens to technically be brain dead. She's a vegetable because I believe she lost like the will to live once she lost her husband and her child during the Nomad strikes.
Was it the will to live? I thought it was just from the drone strike.
I believe it was the will to live because she mentioned a story to John David that when an AI lost her child, she turned herself off. So that's was referencing that. So I thought that was cool. But I'm like, all right, I wanted to maybe see more of Gemma Chan of them together, or something. Because I felt like when they got to the scene and then they turn off her life support, I didn't really feel much. Did you guys feel anything with that?
I thought the twist would be that she was still alive and was a bad guy.
And didn't love him.
Or no, yeah, she was using him, or she was a bad guy, which I thought would have been a little bit more interesting. But I think the scene where he had to turn her off, that worked for me. But yeah, I agree, she was completely wasted.
Which I think is not really fair for the movie, because I mean, just because they got a big actor to play the character doesn't necessarily mean that the character needs to do more than they did.
But if there's only like 2 developed characters in the whole movie.
Who?
John
Ken
David
Watanabe,
Alfie?
Alfie and John David.
Just the 2 protagonists?
Just the 2 characters, and it's more than 2 hours, so I'm like, a lot of these characters are static.
Yeah, another thing.
Ken Watanabe didn't learn anything new, I guess. He had humans.
Trusted. He learned to trust them.
But he had humans in his civilization already. The humans were helping him.
I guess.
And he had a lot of the corrupt U.S. military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this movie was like 2 hours, 15 minutes. It felt long.
It did.
Like,
Towards the end a little bit.
Yeah, there are certain scenes where I think they could have just cut out maybe 10 to 15 minutes and just have it be like clean 2 hours. What's the part where it felt like everything?
Was it when they put it in the car?
Yeah, no. Everything after the bridge scene kind of just felt like
the stuff in space. I was like, all right, wrap it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Like when he was on the missile, I'm like, all right, just get to the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I kind of knew that like there's no way John David's making this out of this movie alive. There's no way. It has to be the girl. Like it just fits the narrative completely.
Yeah, which I think is, I can see some people having issues with this movie that maybe it feels too similar. Yeah. I think for the most part it does the kind of familiar storyline well enough. That didn't bother me, and even it was kind of cool when you see the references of other media,
like, in this. Aliens, Avatar,
Akira, and then for sure it's very like anime and like Asian cinema inspired,
which is awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Big praising to the casting. Like, everyone's Asian is awesome.
Yeah, honestly, I think this movie was a. like if you haven't seen it, I definitely think it's worth watching.
Original movies.
Very happy with how I came out of the movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And what I want this movie to do more of is just have directors be doing these new original IPs, because what's so refreshing is this does not set up a sequel. Like there might be, maybe. No. But like,
I don't want a sequel.
Yeah, I don't want a sequel. Like, this was great as is.
They tied it nice bow.
Yeah. It was great. So I think if you haven't seen the movie yet and it's still in a theater near you, definitely worth checking out. I thought it was great.
100%.
Score, I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. I thought it was really good. I give it like an 8.5 B+. It's really serviceable, really fun time, and actually surprisingly funny. There was like a really funny moment when they have like this device that translates like a universal translator.
Go love yourself.
Go love yourself. Go love your mother.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, so it was good. It was a fun movie. I liked it a lot.
I agree. I think there was a lot of great aspects to the movie. There are some problems I had with it overall. All the pros, I think, outweigh the few cons that is there. I love seeing original movies. I want to see more of this, because just the fact it's $80 million, it does not look like $80 million. It looks better than Flash, Quantumania, all these hero movies that have been coming out.
I don't know what money laundering they did for this movie to get it under the $80 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
And it's just every single Ken Watanabe, like, man, this guy's great. All the robots are great. I think I'm sitting around a B+. I want it to be like an A, because I think it has a lot of awesome messages, but I just can't get behind some of the acting of John David.
Yeah, the execution of it kind of leaves more to be desired.
Yep.
For me, I would give it like a 4 out of 5, so like an 8 out of 10.
Yep. That's right.
It's a solid sci-fi movie. I think I'm really excited that this is really an original sci-fi idea.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it just seems like there's more and more original sci-fi.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be tied down to like a franchise or a pre-existing thing. So like this, Rebel Moon.
Oh, Roman,
Yeah.
good.
I hope that one's as good as this.
It will be
Yeah.
great.
This is
And Roman's gonna be really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this also just got me really hyped for Dune, which is a pre-existing thing, but is also really good sci-fi.
Yeah, so you check out Dune. I know it was pushed back to next year, hoping that when it gets closer to the release date, they'll have both movies kind of like showing.
Oh, hell.
Because I do want to watch it, but I don't know if I want to watch it at
IMAX.
home yet.
Yeah,
You know, it's like I can just wait to see it in theaters. Because we saw this at AMC Prime,
Yep.
which it had recliners. I don't know if that's like, I think it's smaller than IMAX, but better than regular laser screen for the Prime.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, we really enjoyed the movie. We were happy that Alvin came down to check out the Americana,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a really good time. Anything else to say before we close out these?
I just want to watch more of Gareth Edwards now. I hope this guy gets to keep doing more original projects. Like, just when I watched it, like, man, this literally looks like a Nolan movie, bro.
Yeah.
It was great.
Good.
Yeah, Gareth Edwards, come back to Star Wars, please.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Save us.
I don't know about that.
Please.
Well, as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. And we want to know from you guys. We want to ask, what did you think about the creator? Let us know in the comments below. It's been me, Amir.
It's me, Omid.
I'm Alvin.
Have a great one, guys. Take it easy. See you next time.